First contact and mockery. The vast expanse of space stretched before Captain Aria Novak as she guided the Earth's first faster-than-light ship, the ESS Horizon, towards the coordinates of the alien signal. After decades of searching, humanity had finally made contact with an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. The crew's excitement was palpable, a mix of anticipation and nervousness permeating the bridge. "We're approaching the rendezvous point, Captain," announced Navigator Jack Chen, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. Aria nodded, her dark eyes fixed on the view screen. "All stations report status." As her crew called out their readiness, a massive ship shimmered into existence before them. Its sleek, crystalline structure dwarfed the horizon, making Earth's pride and joy look like a mere toy in comparison. "My God," whispered Dr. Elena Rossi, the ship's xenobiologist. "It's beautiful." The alien vessel pulsed with an ethereal light, and suddenly a melodic voice filled the horizon's bridge. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Zar Kelly Collective. We welcome you to the galactic community." Aria stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "This is Captain Aria Novak of the Earth ship Horizon. We come in peace and friendship." A chuckle, both musical and condescending, echoed through the speakers. "Peace and friendship, how quaint. Tell us, Captain Novak, how long did it take your species to achieve faster-than-light travel?" Caught off guard by the question, Aria hesitated before answering. "We achieved FTL capabilities just 5 years ago." Another laugh, this time joined by multiple voices. 5 years? Oh, you poor primitive creatures. We mastered faster-than-light travel millennia ago. Your technology must seem so advanced to you. The mocking tone sent a chill down Aria's spine. This wasn't the warm welcome they had hoped for. "We may be new to interstellar travel," Aria replied, keeping her voice level, "but we have much to offer. We seek to learn and grow." "Learn and grow?" interrupted the alien voice. "Perhaps you can learn to be our pets. That might be all you're good for." Anger flashed across the faces of the Horizon's crew. Dr. Rossi stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her indignation. "We've made great strides in various fields of science. Surely there must be areas where we can contribute." "Contribute?" The alien's tone dripped with disdain. "Your science is like a child's finger painting compared to our masterpieces. But please, do continue to amuse us with your primitive notions." As the humiliation continued, Aria noticed her communications officer, Lieutenant Zara Patel, discreetly tapping at her console. Zara caught the captain's eye and gave a subtle nod. She had managed to record and analyze the alien transmission, gathering valuable data even as they endured the mockery. For the next hour, the Zar Kali continued to belittle humanity's achievements, dismissing their art, culture, and technology as insignificant. With each passing moment, Aria's determination grew. She would prove them wrong, show them that humanity was more than they assumed. As the cultural exchange drew to a close, the Zar Kali spokesperson's voice took on a patronizing tone. "We will allow your species limited access to some of our less advanced outposts. Perhaps in a few thousand years, you might evolve enough to be of some use to us." Aria's jaw clenched, but she maintained her diplomatic composure. "We appreciate your generosity. Rest assured, we will make the most of this opportunity." As the communication ended and the alien ship disappeared in a flash of light, a heavy silence fell over the Horizon's bridge. The crew looked to their captain, a mix of anger, shame, and determination in their eyes. Aria took a deep breath, then addressed her team. "I know that wasn't what we expected, but remember this moment. Remember how they laughed at us, how they dismissed us, because one day we'll prove them wrong." She turned to Zara. "Lieutenant Patel, what were you able to gather from their transmission?" Zara's eyes lit up. "A lot, Captain. Their technology is incredible, but there are patterns, frequencies we've never seen before. I think they're using some form of dimensional manipulation far beyond anything we theorized." Dr. Rossi leaned in, intrigued. Dimensional manipulation, like in Dr. Takashi's theoretical work on hyperspatial physics. Zara nodded excitedly. Exactly like that. If we could understand this, replicate it, we could leapfrog centuries of technological development. Arya finished, a spark of hope igniting in her chest. We could catch up to them faster than they could ever imagine. She turned to her helmsman, set a course for Earth maximum speed. Then, addressing the entire crew, she continued, "What happened here today doesn't leave this ship. As far as the world is concerned, we had a polite first contact, but we have work to do." As the horizon turned back towards Earth, Arya's mind raced with possibilities. The Zar Kali had unwittingly given humanity a gift, the motivation to prove them wrong and a glimpse of the technology that could make it possible. Little did the aliens know, back on Earth, a secret project was already underway. A project that would soon shape the foundations of the galaxy and force the Zar Kali to eat their words. In the depths of a hidden facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Hiroshi Takashi stood before a shimmering portal, a smile playing on his lips. "Soon," he whispered, "very, very soon." As the horizon sped back to Earth, carrying the precious data from their encounter with the Zar Kali, humanity stood on the brink of a technological revolution. The stars that had once seemed so far away were about to become their new frontier, and the aliens who had mocked them would soon learn that underestimating humans was a grave mistake. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity, with its indomitable spirit and newfound determination, was ready to take its rightful place among the stars. The Zar Kali's laughter would soon turn to astonishment, as the species they had dismissed as primitive pets prepared to unleash a power that would reshape the very fabric of space-time itself. The hidden project. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility known only to a select few, Dr. Hiroshi Takashi stood before a shimmering portal. The air crackled with energy, distorting the space around it in ways that defied conventional physics. This was the culmination of Project Prometheus, humanity's greatest scientific endeavor, hidden from the world and now more crucial than ever. As alarms blared, signaling another failed attempt, Hiroshi sighed and ran a hand through his salt and pepper hair. Power down the matrix, he called out to his team. "Let's analyze the data and try again." Dr. Maya Rodriguez, his brilliant protégé, approached with a tablet in hand. "The hyperspatial fluctuations are still too unstable, Hiroshi. We're close, but..." Their conversation was interrupted by the facility's security chief, Colonel Sarah Blackwood. "Dr. Takashi, we've received word from the horizon. Captain Novak is requesting an immediate meeting with you and the project leads." Hiroshi's eyebrows rose. The horizon wasn't due back for weeks. Did they say why? Sarah shook her head. No details given, but it's classified as ultra-priority. Hours later, in a secure conference room, Captain Novak briefed the Prometheus team on their encounter with the Zar Kali. The room was silent as she played back recordings of the aliens' mockery. "They think we're pets," Arya concluded, her voice tight with controlled anger. "Primitive beings barely worth acknowledging, but thanks to Lieutenant Patel's analysis, we've got something they don't expect." Zora stepped forward, projecting a complex series of equations and waveforms. "Their technology manipulates higher dimensions in ways we've only theorized, but the principles align remarkably with Dr. Takashi's work." All eyes turned to Hiroshi, who was studying the data with intense focus. This is incredible," he murmured. "Maya, look at these phase variances. They're using a resonance cascade to stabilize the dimensional rifts." Maya's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. If we apply this to the Prometheus drive, we could achieve stable hyperspatial travel, Hiroshi finished, excitement building in his voice. Colonel Blackwood interjected, "How long until we have a working prototype?" Hiroshi and Maya exchanged glances, performing rapid mental calculations. "With this new data, and if we push ourselves to the limit, 3 months. "You have 2, came a new voice. The room turned to see UN Secretary-General Adebayo entering, his presence a testament to the gravity of the situation. The Zarkali have graciously invited a human delegation to their nearest outpost in 2 months. We need to show them what humanity is truly capable of. The next 2 months were a blur of frenetic activity. The Prometheus facility buzzed day and night as the team worked tirelessly to integrate the new insights into their design. Sleep was a luxury, with most team members catching naps in shifts to keep the work going around the clock. Failures were frequent and sometimes spectacular. More than once, the mountains above the facility were rocked by muffled explosions as another prototype destabilized. But with each setback came new understanding, new refinements. 53 days into their 2-month deadline, as dawn broke over the Rockies, Hiroshi stood once again before the portal chamber. The air hummed with potential energy, the portal's edge shimmering with an otherworldly light. "Matrix is stable," Maya reported, her voice tense with anticipation. "Hyperspatial resonance is holding steady." Hiroshi took a deep breath. "Initiate final sequence." The hum grew to a crescendo. The portal's center began to swirl, colors that had no name in human language dancing across its surface. And then, with a sound like reality itself tearing, the portal stabilized into a smooth, mirror-like surface. For a moment, no one dared to breathe. Then the probe they had sent through reappeared, laden with data from the other side. "It worked," Maya whispered, then louder, "It worked." The room erupted in cheers and embraces. Years of work, months of grueling effort, had finally paid off. Humanity had unlocked the secret of hyperspatial travel. As the celebration continued around him, Hiroshi allowed himself a small smile. "Now," he said softly, "we show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. While the Prometheus team worked to scale up their prototype for a full-sized ship, a cover story was crafted. To the world and to the Zarkali, it would appear that humanity had made a miraculous breakthrough in propulsion technology, achieving faster-than-light travel through conventional means. Only a select few knew the truth, that beneath the hull of the newly christened HFY Prometheus lay a device that could fold space and time itself, allowing the ship to step through the higher dimensions. As the day of departure approached, the chosen crew underwent intensive training. Captain Novak, having proved her mettle in first contact, was selected to command the Prometheus on its maiden voyage. On the eve of their departure, Secretary-General Adebayo addressed the crew. "You carry with you the hopes and dreams of all humanity. Show the galaxy that we are not to be underestimated. Show them the true spirit of our species." As dawn broke on launch day, the Prometheus rose from its hidden base, its sleek form belying the revolutionary technology within. As it ascended through the atmosphere, Captain Novak's voice crackled over the global broadcast. "People of Earth, this is Captain Arian Novak of the HFY Prometheus. Today, we embark on a journey that will change the course of human history, to the stars and beyond." With a flash of light that outshone the sun, the Prometheus vanished, leaving behind a world holding its breath in anticipation. In the depths of space, far beyond the solar system, the Prometheus reappeared. The bridge crew stared in awe at the unfamiliar star patterns surrounding them. "Navigation," Aria called out, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. "Confirm our position." After a moment, the navigator responded, his voice filled with wonder. "Captain, we've traveled over 10,000 light-years in an instant. We're at the coordinates of the Zarkali outpost." A fierce smile spread across Aria's face. "Excellent. Let's go introduce ourselves properly, shall we?" As the Prometheus glided towards the alien outpost, its crew stood tall and proud. Humanity had taken its first true step into the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Zarkali were about to learn that the species they had dismissed as primitive pets was far more than they had ever imagined. The game was about to change, and humanity was holding all the cards. Galactic crisis. As the HSS Prometheus approached the Zarkali outpost, an uneasy silence fell over the bridge. The massive crystalline structure of the alien station loomed before them, its design a testament to the advanced nature of its creators. "Open a channel," Captain Novak ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the surprised face of a Zarkali official. His multifaceted eyes widened in shock as he recognized the species addressing him. "This is impossible," the alien sputtered. "How did you? You shouldn't be capable of reaching this outpost for centuries." Arya allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. "It seems you may have underestimated us, honored Zarkali. We request permission to dock and meet with your leadership." As the Prometheus was guided into a docking bay, the crew could feel the weight of countless alien eyes upon them. Word of their arrival had spread quickly through the station, and crowds of diverse alien species gathered to catch a glimpse of the impossible humans. The diplomatic team, led by Dr. Elena Rossi, disembarked to meet with the station's governor. As they walked through the sprawling corridors of the outpost, Elena couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technologies surrounding them. Yet, she reminded herself, they now carried within their ship the potential to rival even this. The meeting with Governor Zixnar was tense, filled with thinly veiled suspicion and disbelief. The Zarkali leader struggled to reconcile the primitive humans he had dismissed mere months ago with the beings who now stood before him, having crossed vast distances of space in the blink of an eye. As the humans explained their breakthrough in propulsion technology, carefully omitting any mention of dimensional manipulation, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Governor Zixnar's communicator chirped urgently. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his scales shifting colors in agitation. A holographic display sprang to life in the center of the room, showing a massive swirling vortex of energy forming at the edge of the star system. By the cosmic threads, Zixnar whispered, his voice filled with dread. "It's happening again." Dr. Rossi leaned forward, her scientific curiosity piqued. "What's happening? What is that phenomenon?" The governor turned to the humans, fear evident in his multifaceted eyes. "We call it the Void Maw. It's a rupture in the fabric of space-time that appears without warning, consuming everything in its path. We've lost entire systems to these events." As if to underscore his words, the hologram showed a small moon being pulled into the vortex, disintegrating as it was torn apart by immense gravitational forces. "Can it be stopped?" Captain Novak asked, her mind already racing with possibilities. Zixnar shook his head. "We've tried everything. Our most advanced ships, our greatest weapons, nothing can close the breach once it forms. We can only evacuate and hope it dissipates on its own." The human team exchanged glances. This was far beyond what they had expected to encounter, but it was also an opportunity, a chance to prove humanity's worth on a galactic scale. "Governor," Arya said, her voice filled with determination, "we may be able to help." The next few hours were a flurry of activity as the Zarkali coordinated evacuation efforts. The Prometheus crew worked feverishly to adapt their hyperspatial drive to address this new threat. Dr. Takashi, conferencing in from Earth, proposed a daring plan. "If we can generate a controlled dimensional rift opposite the Void Maw, we might be able to create a counterbalance, forcing it to collapse in on itself," he explained. "But the energy requirements would be enormous. We have to channel the output of a star to generate a rift of that magnitude," Maya pointed out. It was Lieutenant Patel who provided the key insight. "What if we use the Void Maw's own energy against it? If we can set up a feedback loop using our dimensional technology, we might be able to turn its power inward." As the scientists and engineers worked to implement this plan, tensions on the station reached a fever pitch. More alien ships arrived, some to help with evacuations, others to witness what they believed would be the humans' futile attempt to save the system. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of preparations, the Prometheus was ready. As it approached the swirling vortex of the Void Maw, Captain Novak addressed her crew. I won't lie to you. What we're about to attempt is incredibly dangerous, but the fate of this system, and perhaps the galaxy itself, rests on our success. Whatever happens, know that you have made humanity proud. With a final check of systems, the Prometheus activated its modified drive. The ship shuddered as energies beyond human comprehension coursed through its hull. A beam of pure dimensional energy lanced out from the ship, striking the heart of the void maw. The communication channels exploded with chatter as the assembled alien ships tried to make sense of what they had just witnessed. The humans, dismissed as primitive just months ago, had accomplished what the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy had failed to do. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with increasing speed, the vortex began to shrink. The void maw's own energy was being turned against it, forced into a feedback loop that was causing it to collapse. On the bridge of the Prometheus, warning klaxons blared as systems overloaded under the strain. Hull integrity at 62% and falling, reported the engineering officer, his voice tight with tension. Hold steady, Aria commanded, her knuckles white as she gripped her chair. We're almost there. With a final, reality-shaking implosion, the void maw collapsed in on itself. A shockwave of energy radiated outward, buffeting the Prometheus and the watching ships. As the dust settled and the sensors cleared, a cheer went up from the bridge crew. Where once there had been a system-destroying vortex, now there was only empty space. Proving our worth. In the days following the void maw incident, the Zarkali outpost buzzed with activity. News of the humans' feat spread rapidly across the galaxy, transforming Earth from an insignificant backwater into the focus of intense interstellar attention. Captain Novak and her crew found themselves at the center of a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings, scientific conferences, and barely concealed attempts by various alien species to uncover the secrets of their technology. Through it all, they maintained a delicate balance, sharing enough to establish goodwill while safeguarding the true nature of their hyperspatial drive. Dr. Rossi, in particular, found herself in high demand. Her expertise in xenobiology, combined with humanity's newfound status, opened doors to vast archives of galactic knowledge. As she pored over data on thousands of alien species and civilizations, a troubling pattern began to emerge. Captain, she said, her voice grave as she addressed Aria in a private meeting, I think the void maw wasn't an isolated incident. Look at these historical records. She pulled up a holographic display showing a map of the galaxy dotted with swirling vortices similar to the one they had encountered. These events have been occurring with increasing frequency over the past few millennia, and they're getting worse. Aria studied the data, her brow furrowed. Do the Zarkali know about this? I don't think so, Elena replied. These records are fragmented, spread across multiple species archives. I don't think anyone's put it all together before. Just then, an urgent message came through from Earth. Secretary General Adebayo's face appeared on the screen, his expression grim. Captain Novak, we have a situation. A void maw has appeared in the Alpha Centauri system. It's heading towards our solar system. The news hit like a physical blow. Earth, having just stepped onto the galactic stage, now faced an existential threat. We're on our way, Aria said, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart, and we're bringing help. What followed was a frantic race against time. As the Prometheus sped back to Earth, Aria and her team worked to convince the galactic community of the scale of the threat they all faced. The data Dr. Rossi had uncovered proved crucial, demonstrating that this was not just a human problem, but a danger to the entire galaxy. Reluctantly at first, then with growing urgency as the evidence mounted, various alien species agreed to join forces. A fleet unlike any the galaxy had ever seen began to assemble. Zarkali crystalline ships, massive Fraxixian war barges, sleek Nikali interceptors, and dozens of other vessels representing civilizations from across the stars. At the heart of this armada was the Prometheus, its hyperspatial drive now the linchpin in a desperate plan to save not just Earth, but potentially the entire galaxy. As they approached the solar system, the fleet was met with a sight that chilled them to the core. The void maw had grown to monstrous proportions, its swirling vortex already larger than Jupiter. The outer planets had been torn from their orbits, reduced to debris swirling around the event horizon. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Potel as she stared at the sensor readings. "At this rate, it'll reach Earth in less than 48 hours. Captain Novak's voice cut through the shop silence on the bridge. "We've faced this before, and we'll face it again. This time, we're not alone. All ships, move into formation. Prepare to execute Operation Cosmic Seal." The plan was audacious, borderline insane. Using the Prometheus as a focal point, the Ally fleet would generate a massive, controlled dimensional rift to counter the void maw. It would require perfect coordination and push their technology to its absolute limits. As the ships moved into position, Aria opened a channel to the fleet. "To all ships, this is Captain Novak. What we attempt today will determine the fate not just of humanity, but of all our peoples. Together we stand against the darkness. Together we will prevail." A chorus of affirmations echoed across the comm channels, a symphony of alien voices united in common purpose. The next hours were a blur of frantic activity. Ships darted in and out of formation, using their various technologies to stabilize the growing rift. The Prometheus pulsed with energy as its hyperspatial drive worked in concert with the alien vessels, guiding the creation of a controlled dimensional tier. As they worked, the void maw continued its inexorable advance. Mars vanished into its maw, the red planet crumbling to dust in an instant. Earth, a blue jewel against the backdrop of space, seemed to tremble in the face of its approaching doom. "Rift stability at 67% and holding," reported Dr. Rodriguez, her voice strained. "We need more power." Aria made a split-second decision. Divert all non-essential power to the drive. Life support, artificial gravity, everything. Give it all we've got. Throughout the ship, lights dimmed and gravity fluctuated as every ounce of energy was channeled into the dimensional rift. Across the fleet, alien vessels followed suit, pushing their own technologies to the breaking point. For a moment that stretched into eternity, nothing seemed to happen. The void maw continued to grow, unstoppable in its hunger. Then, almost imperceptibly at first, it began to slow. "It's working," shouted Lieutenant Petel. "The void maw's expansion is decreasing." But their victory was far from assured. As the two-dimensional rifts clashed, space and time itself seemed to warp and twist. Ships were tossed about like leaves in a storm, their hulls groaning under forces they were never designed to withstand. On the bridge of the Prometheus, warning klaxons blared as systems failed one by one. "Hull integrity critical," shouted the engineering officer. "We can't take much more of this, Captain." Captain Novak gripped her chair, her knuckles white. "Hold on, we're almost there." With a final, reality-shaking surge, the controlled rift collided with the void maw. For a moment, it seemed as if the very fabric of the universe held its breath. Then, with a silent explosion that rippled across space and time, both rifts collapsed in on themselves. As the sensors cleared and the dust settled, a ragged cheer went up across the fleet. Where once there had been a galaxy-threatening vortex, now there was only the vast emptiness of space and a battered but intact Earth. Humanity had not only proven its worth, but it played a pivotal role in saving the galaxy. As congratulations and expressions of awe poured in from their alien allies, Captain Novak allowed herself a moment of quiet pride. But even as they celebrated their victory, she knew that this was only the beginning. The void maws were a symptom of a deeper problem, one that would require all of their newfound allies' combined knowledge and technology to solve. As the Prometheus limped back to Earth, Aria gazed out at the stars. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity's place in it had been irrevocably altered. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as equals among the stars. The greater threat. In the months following the Earth Void Maw crisis, the galaxy underwent a profound transformation. The combined effort to save Earth had shattered old prejudices and forged new alliances. Humanity, once dismissed as primitive, now stood as a respected member of the galactic community. On Earth, the aftermath of the crisis brought about rapid changes. The existence of alien life and Earth's new role in galactic affairs could no longer be kept secret. Governments worldwide struggled to adapt to this new reality, but the overwhelming sentiment among Earth's population was one of hope and excitement for the future. Captain Arian Novak found herself at the center of these momentous events. As she stood before the newly formed Galactic Council, she couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come in such a short time. Captain Novak, intern Zixnar, now serving as the Tsar Kali representative, your actions and those of your crew have ushered in a new era for our galaxy. We owe you a debt that can never be fully repaid. Arian nodded graciously, but her mind was on the challenges that still lay ahead. Thank you, Representative Zixnar, but our work is far from over. The void maws may be a symptom of a larger problem facing our galaxy. She gestured to Dr. Rossi, who stepped forward with a holographic display. Our combined research suggests that the increasing frequency of void maws is tied to the very fabric of our universe. The boundaries between dimensions are weakening, and unless we find a way to stabilize them, we may face threats far greater than what we've encountered so far. The council chamber erupted in murmurs of concern. A Fraxixian delegate, his massive form dwarfing the others, spoke up. What do you propose, humans? How can we combat a threat to reality itself? It was Dr. Hiroshi Takashi who answered, his holographic form flickering as he addressed the council from Earth. We believe the solution lies in pushing our understanding of dimensional physics even further. By combining our hyperspatial drive technology with the diverse scientific knowledge of all our species, we may be able to develop a method to reinforce the cosmic framework itself. What followed was a flurry of discussion and debate. The scope of the project was unprecedented. It would require resources and cooperation on a galactic scale. But faced with the alternative of cosmic destruction, the Council ultimately agreed. Thus was born the Cosmic Bulwark Initiative. Over the next few years, research outposts were established throughout the galaxy, each dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of dimensional physics. The Prometheus, now joined by a fleet of new ships equipped with hyperspatial drives, became the backbone of this initiative, ferrying scientists and resources across vast distances. But it wasn't just in the scientific realm that humanity made its mark. Earth's unique history of overcoming divisions to unite in times of crisis proved invaluable in navigating the complex political landscape of the galaxy. Diplomatic teams, led by the insightful Dr. Rossi, helped mediate conflicts between species that had been at odds for millennia. Lieutenant Patel's expertise in communication technology led to the development of a new galactic network, allowing for instantaneous communication across vast distances. This network became the foundation for a new era of cultural exchange, with art, music, and ideas flowing freely between worlds. As the years passed, the galaxy entered a golden age of exploration and discovery. The threat of the void maws, while still present, had been greatly reduced thanks to the early warning systems developed by the Cosmic Bulwark Initiative. Humanity's adventurous spirit, combined with alien technologies, pushed the boundaries of known space ever further. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Old prejudices died hard, and there were those who resented the rapid rise of humanity in galactic affairs. Fringe groups, both human and alien, emerged advocating for isolation or supremacy. Captain Novak and her crew often found themselves on the front lines, combating these threats to the new galactic order. It was during one such mission, 10 years after the Earth Void Maw incident, that everything changed. The Prometheus, now larger and more advanced than its predecessor, was investigating reports of unusual energy readings in a remote sector of the galaxy. Captain called out the science officer, a young Tsar Kali named Vexilor. "I'm detecting a massive energy surge. It's like nothing I've ever seen before." Before Aria could respond, the ship was rocked by a violent shockwave. The view screen exploded in a kaleidoscope of impossible colors as space itself seemed to tear open before them. "By the cosmic threads," whispered Vexilor, his voice filled with awe and terror. "It's a dimensional breach, but on a scale that shouldn't be possible." As the crew stared in stunned silence, something began to emerge from the tear in reality. It was vast, defying comprehension, its form shifting and changing in ways that hurt the mind to observe. "That's no void more," Aria breathed, her voice barely audible over the blaring alarms. "That's something else entirely." The entity, if it could be called that, seemed to notice the Prometheus. A tendril of energy, crackling with power beyond anything they had encountered, lashed out towards the ship. "Evasive maneuvers," Aria shouted, snapping out of her shock. "Get us out of here now." As the Prometheus engaged its hyperspatial drive, narrowly escaping the entity's grasp, Aria knew that everything had changed once again. This was no mere cosmic anomaly. This was an invasion from beyond known space, a threat that dwarfed even the Void Mars in its potential for destruction. As they raced back to the nearest cosmic bulwark outpost, Aria's mind raced with the implications. The galaxy had only just begun to heal, to come together in the face of one existential threat. Now they faced another, one that might require every ounce of their combined knowledge, technology, and courage to overcome. The true test of humanity's place in the galaxy was about to begin, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The fate of not just Earth, but every world in every star system, hung in the balance. As the Prometheus hurtled through hyperspace, carrying news of this unprecedented threat, Aria steeled herself for the challenges ahead. Whatever this new enemy was, wherever it had come from, she knew one thing for certain: humanity would face it head-on, standing shoulder to shoulder with their galactic allies. The battle for the very existence of the universe was about to begin. Humanity's triumph. The news of the extra-dimensional incursion spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Panic gripped countless worlds as reports of similar breaches began to pour in from all corners of known space. The entity that the Prometheus had encountered was not alone. It was merely the vanguard of an invasion force beyond comprehension. As the Galactic Council convened in an emergency session, holographic representatives from thousands of species flickered into existence. The chamber was awash with a cacophony of voices, each struggling to be heard above the din of fear and confusion. Captain Aria Novak stood at the center of it all, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We faced extinction before and prevailed. We can do it again, but only if we stand united." Dr. Hiroshi Takashi, now head of the Cosmic Bulwark Initiative, stepped forward. "The entities we face exist beyond our understanding of dimensional physics. Our current technology, even our hyperspatial drives, are insufficient to combat this threat directly." A ripple of despair swept through the assembly, but Takashi wasn't finished. "However, we've been working on a theory. If we can create a network of hyperspatial resonators across the galaxy, we might be able to stabilize the dimensional boundaries on a cosmic scale. But that would require resources beyond anything we've ever attempted," protested a Fraxian delegate. "And coordination on a level we've never achieved," added Zixnar. Aria's eyes blazed with determination. "Then we'll achieve it. We'll push ourselves further than we ever have before. Humanity has a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. Well, the necessity has never been greater." Over the next months, as the extra-dimensional invasion intensified, the galaxy mobilized on an unprecedented scale. The Cosmic Bulwark Initiative became the focal point of a desperate plan to save not just individual worlds, but the very fabric of their universe. Shipyards across 1,000 systems worked around the clock, producing fleets of vessels equipped with experimental weapons and defenses. Scientists from every known species collaborated, pushing the boundaries of physics and technology. The galactic network, once a tool for cultural exchange, became the nervous system of a unified defense effort. Humanity found itself at the heart of this galactic alliance. Earth's history of overcoming internal divisions to face external threats proved invaluable in mediating conflicts and fostering cooperation between species that had been enemies for millennia. Captain Novak and the crew of the Prometheus led daring missions into the heart of occupied territories, gathering crucial data on the invaders and rescuing stranded populations. Each encounter with the extra-dimensional beings revealed new horrors, but also new weaknesses to exploit. Dr. Rossi made a breakthrough in understanding the invaders' biology, if it could be called that. They're not just creatures from another dimension, she explained to a rapt audience of multi-species scientists. They're living manifestations of dimensional instability. In a sense, they are the cosmic framework trying to rewrite itself. This insight proved crucial. Dr. Takashi and his team used it to refine their plans for the hyperspatial resonator network. We're not just trying to push them back, he realized. We're trying to heal the very fabric of our reality. As the network of resonators grew, stretching across the spiral arms of the galaxy, its effects began to be felt. The dimensional breaches became less frequent, less stable. The invaders found it harder to maintain their presence in our reality. But the entities didn't go quietly. In a final, desperate push, they launched an all-out assault on the core worlds of the galaxy, including Earth. The battle that followed would be spoken of for generations to come. The skies above 1,000 worlds burned with the light of antimatter weapons and dimensional rifts. Fleets clashed in the void, ships piloted by 100 different species, fighting side by side against horrors that defied description. On Earth, as civilian shelters shuddered under the onslaught, children of all species huddled together, comforting each other with songs and stories from a dozen worlds. In orbit, the Prometheus led a last-ditch defense, buying time for the final resonators to come online. Hull integrity critical, reported Lieutenant Patel, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. We can't take much more of this, Captain. Arya gripped her chair, watching as another wave of extra-dimensional monstrosities bore down on them. We hold the line, no matter the cost. Just when all seemed lost, when the combined fleets of the galaxy were on the verge of collapse, the resonator network reached critical mass. A wave of energy swept across the cosmos, visible to the naked eye as a ripple of blue-white light that washed over planets and stars alike. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Dimensional breaches collapsed, sealing shut with final bursts of otherworldly energy. The invading entities writhed in apparent agony, their forms destabilizing and dissolving back into the ether from whence they came. As the light faded and sensors cleared, an eerie silence fell across the galaxy. Then, slowly at first but with growing volume, cheers erupted across every communication channel. From the core worlds to the farthest reaches of known space, every sentient being united in a single moment of joy and relief. The invasion was over. The galaxy, the very fabric of their universe, was saved. In the aftermath, as the long process of rebuilding began, humanity found itself in a position it could never have imagined mere decades ago. No longer the newcomers, they were now viewed as instrumental members of the galactic community. Earth became a symbol of resilience and innovation, a shining example of what could be achieved when diverse peoples came together in the face of adversity. Captain Novak, hailed as a hero across 1,000 worlds, stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, gazing out at the stars. The ship, scared but unbowed, was preparing to lead a mission of exploration into uncharted space. Captain, called out Vexler, excitement in his voice, we're detecting an unusual signal. It seems to be coming from another galaxy entirely. Arya felt a familiar thrill of anticipation. The threat was over, but the adventure, humanity's great journey among the stars, was just beginning. Well then, she said, a smile playing on her lips. Let's see what's out there. Helm set a course to bold new horizons. As the Prometheus engaged its hyperspatial drive, vanishing in a flash of light, Arya knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity would face them as they always had, with courage, creativity, and an unquenchable spirit of exploration. The galaxy, and all the wonders it held, awaited.